왜 안 해?
Is it both of us?
어.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hi. I'm Solo.
I'm Silas. Today we're going to continue our talks about Tinder, our really spicy application, I guess, that is. We actually met on Tinder, which is why we're talking about this. And I don't know, like when I was on Tinder, it was, what year was it? 2020? Oh God. Yeah, I guess
Really?
it was 2020. Yeah, it was last year.
You're a senior. I'm
Yes.
just junior. Yeah, I just tried 1 year.
Well, because I think I started in like 2000.
Oh.
I think I was 26, so 2016, something like that. So I was on there for like a really long time.
Senpai.
Multiple. Notice me, senpai. Multiple continents. That's not a flex. I just mean it was complicated, right? So like, I think I was on there for a really long time through like university. I was traveling a lot. I lived in a couple different countries. So like it's interesting to kind of see the differences in Tinder style around the world, because American people are just like, look, have resource, share resource with you, and then European style, like Western European style is like, let us go and have some fun. We will drink some wine. It will be very nice. And then you get to Eastern Europe and they just stare at you. Really nice people, but they'll just stare. Yes. In 1989, the Soviet Union fell. Just kidding. They're really cool people, just for the record. I met some really cool Romanians. But, yeah, Tinder styles are really different. I think in Korea, though, it's like the most different from like my home culture. So I think when I deleted the application, I had almost 6,000 matches just because, you know, multiple countries, continents, in 4 years.
I'm the chosen one.
The chosen one. Harry Potter like swoops in on his broom. Yeah, so I don't know. It was really interesting, but also like painful at times, just because a lot of people want a lot of different things. It makes sense. We all want different stuff, right? So one of the things that I think is really interesting about Korea in particular, and Korean dating culture, not just on Tinder, is like the matching thing. So today we're matching. Our friend, well, mostly his friend, but he's also my friend now too. He's a graphic designer, super nice guy. He has designed these t-shirts, and it says Kanang in...
Possible.
Well,
Kanang,
okay, so in Korean it's Kanang, but these are the Chinese letters. Do you say it the same in Chinese? I never asked.
I don't know. It might be a little bit different.
I bet you it is.
Basically, it's the same letter.
Yeah, so it's like the root word of possible. It's like all things are possible. Kanang, it's possible. So like I feel a bit powerful when I wear this, and I feel a little silly that we're matchy. For the record, we don't do the matchy ever.
It's the first time.
It's the first time, but
first
we thought, you know, why not be gross and cute for the internet? Yeah, so today we're going to talk about 3 tips for the ladies. So last week we talked about 3 things for guys, 3 tips for guys who are on Tinder. But this week we're going to talk about some things that girls maybe can do to try and help us, because I know that we are struggling on this stupid dating application. So yeah, my first tip for girls on Tinder is just give the other person, whether they're a guy, girl, give them something to talk to you about. So I've seen a lot of different guys and girls that don't really know what to say, because either the bio is blank or the pictures don't really give them anything to know about. You know, if it's just pictures of like the ocean and you're like standing in front of the ocean, like, don't get me wrong, girl, you are probably like rocking it, but the beach isn't really a topic. So we want to choose like a hobby or something that you're interested in, or maybe show off some events that you have had with friends if you're really social.
Or philosophies.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice.
Thinking way.
Yeah, something that you think about life.
Or religious. Religion. Yeah. Maybe.
Oh yeah. I never thought about that.
If you have religion, you'd better post it. I mean, just write down on the bio, because it's really easy to match and filtrate.
That's actually a good point. I never thought of that. Personally, I'm not very religious. I'm more on the spiritual spectrum. So I never thought to like write it in my bio, but that's actually a really good point. Because I will say that sometimes I've matched with guys that are like really nice people and they're Christian, and that's fine. You know, I'm not opposed to that. But sometimes the other people are uncomfortable dating somebody who doesn't have the same religion. Yeah, I never thought about it. That's actually a really good point.
I have same experiences. I've met some girl who is very Christian, so I didn't make conflict between the girl and me. But actually, I feel kind of uncomfortable because of the religion.
I see.
So we could make that. We could make that because I'm kind of open-minded, and she does. So
I see.
it doesn't have. It doesn't make a lot of problem, but it's better to say first.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, I guess it can prevent a lot of problems in the future if we have, clarity about that, because that does actually affect quite a few areas of somebody's life. Like moral things, also what somebody wants to spend their time and energy on. And I will say that, like, especially with us living together, it's really nice that we have very similar interests because we spend a lot of time in the same place. So if we were spending our energy on really, really, really different things, I think it would be more complicated. Oh, like some people can make it work, I'm sure. But I prefer it this way, personally.
I think having different hobbies okay, but if you have different hobby with your partners, you have to make some consent, like separating partition and do their own things. And have to feel it's not wrong. I've heard that many couple think kind of guilty that they are having different hobby or different things at the same time.
Oh, I see.
But I think it's better to think independently. You can be together, but you also can be alone. You have to get some space with your partner.
That's really true. Because I think, like, for me, I am a person that very much enjoys my alone time. And I've noticed that I get pretty cranky if I don't get it. So, everybody, I think, has different interests, and we should have our own lives.
Yeah.
Right. So it's at what point is it balanced? Right. So do we share enough in common that we can share our hobbies together, or do we have nothing in common and have nothing to share? Right. So there's like these kinds of extremes where we spend every waking moment together and do everything together, and then the other extreme that we never spend time together. Right. So, finding a balance that works for you.
Yeah.
And part of that is your beliefs and your motivations and interests, right? So if somebody has something to talk to you about, whether it's religion, a hobby, something like that, there's already a meeting point that you guys can talk about when a message comes in or goes out to this other person. So I will say that because we are both interested in sports and fitness, we had a lot to talk about right at the beginning. And that really gave some momentum to our relationship and talking. So I think that's a really great place to start.
Yeah.
Give them something to message you about. Our second tip, the second thing I thought about is to trust your instinct. Now, I know particularly in the United States that meeting strangers from the internet, particularly in big cities, is a little intimidating and scary. So I would say to trust your gut. Now, you can't always be 100% right, because sometimes, somebody seems really cool and then they're a little scary. It's more often that somebody seems scary and they're not. You know what I mean? But, like, it depends on where you live. In Korea, I'm not scared to meet anyone because, like, the murder rate in Korea is so low. But if I, when I was living in the United States, I had to be a lot more vigilant about who I was hanging out with. So if you have a weird feeling from, like, your messages or their profile or something, honestly, in my opinion, it's better just to trust your instinct and not waste your time on it. If somebody seemed like an F-boy, he probably an F-boy. So don't waste your time. Like, sorry, there's way more women on Tinder in basically there's way more men. That's what I meant to say. There's way more men on Tinder in basically every country in the world. So don't tell them I said this. You basically have the pick of the litter. So unless you are like, I don't even know, like a troll who lives underground, like you're gonna have plenty of potential matches, especially if you live in a city. So like there's a lot of guys to choose from, so take your time. You don't have to meet a creepy guy just because he's cute, right? So like,
But
yeah.
you know what, Tinder is the most balanced dating application except Bumble, I think.
Balanced?
Yeah.
In what way?
I mean,
like because it's
gender.
egalitarian.
Yeah.
Both people can message first.
I mean, the ratio of each gender.
Oh, I was reading that it's like 65 or 70% men.
That's not bad, you know.
I guess it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not like there's like 10 guys and one girl.
Yeah, like
I would go to that party.
When I tried the Korean dating app, usually it's like 80% men and 20% women, and
makes sense.
There's some weird system like if guy want to text first, they have to pay.
Oh.
But woman doesn't have to pay for texting back or texting first, so it's very guys oriented application, but Tinder is quite equal, and Bumble is a little bit woman oriented, so yeah, I think the two is the kind of dominating the market.
I think so too. Well, and I will say that in defense of Bumble, because like I think it doesn't work as well here in Korea. I've noticed on Bumble it's mostly foreigners.
Yeah.
So like I would say that my experience on Bumble is like 90% of everyone that I saw was a 외국인. And or like military guys or like English teachers. But on Tinder that's like a lot more mixed. So quick tip, if you live in Korea, I would highly recommend using Tinder. Not that I'm against like foreign dudes, it's just you have a lot more options when you're using Tinder. I know that it sucks sometimes because like we don't really know or understand like what the Korean dating types are, but a quick rundown is that you have the F boys and they look like F boys, okay? They don't have a bio, they just like, look at how hot I am. And then the second type is like aggressive Christian. Don't get me wrong, Christianity's fine, but aggressive Christianity is a particular breed. Buddhism? I've never dealt with it, but I know it exists, right? They've caused some wars and stuff in Burma. That's not a good situation, right? So like, but so there's that guy, and then what's the other one? Like too nice.
Yeah, pretend like, too nice. Like, I can give you anything. I love you.
Right? Yeah, I have gotten some messages from some guys. I love you. No, you don't. What are you talking about? I will say Koreans are pretty quick to being like, oh, I love you. No, you don't.
Because we have to say quite earlier. Because, K-drama, something, made her more high standarded, you know.
You're lucky I'm Western. I'm very Western in my, I know how Western I am in my mindset. I'm very much a Westerner. But yeah, so the third tip, actually speaking about this, is that it's actually okay to text the guy first. I think there has been a misconception in a lot of conversations that I've had. Some girls that I know will text first. I can't talk right now, so forgive my sentence structures. But a lot of girls that I know here in Korea, they will text first, right? And that's fine. But I will note that from back home, I do know a lot of girls who won't text first, and they don't like actually making context first. I think it's actually okay to message first, because guys, there's a lot of pressure. I know that it's not necessarily like gender appropriate, but there is a lot of pressure on men to like make the first move and like make contact first and always be thinking of something interesting to say that
I think it's naturally derived, the concept. Men have to be brave, men have to approach first, but it's naturally done. It's not should, it's not have to.
I think it's socially conditioned though.
And it's fault of both gender. Like men, some shitty men think if girl text first, they think they're winning the game. Like they can, they can do.
Just a second.
Okay.
So it's okay for women to text first, like whether or not this comes from a biological standpoint. So he feels it's more biological. I feel this is more social conditioning. Whatever the cause is for this thing, guys definitely feel very much that it is their responsibility to like put their foot in the door and to like be the one who's like chasing basically. And girls kind of feel, you know, encouraged by society or perhaps, you know, evolutionarily to be like, oh, like you have to chase me. Personally, I just don't like getting messages that just say hi. Like that's not really interesting to me because I'm too lazy to like think of a good subject to talk about personally. So for me, I like to look for these accounts that they have something in common with me, or they look like they're nice people. They don't look like they're gonna murder me. Yeah, I like to look for them and message first. I actually messaged him first. So it's okay. It's okay to text first, and it doesn't affect your standing, I don't think. And honestly, in my personal opinion, if it affects a guy's opinion of you, that's kind of a crappy guy. I think you should be able to have the right as a woman to just do whatever you want and to take charge of your life. And if they don't like that, they're probably not going to like you taking charge in other areas of your life as well. So personally, I would say that any guy who's just like intimidated or like taken aback by getting a message from a girl first is not worth the energy. Yeah, but that, I don't know, that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's some nice guys that are just like, oh, she texted me first, she must really want it. But like, I don't know, those guys are crappy too.
I think that happens a lot. Yeah,
probably.
In my opinion, there's a fault of both genders of texting. Like as you told, evolutionary we guys think they have to approach first, but actually it's not have to or it should. It's just done. And girl usually come and go like being chased and chasing. It's just natural thing. But if you don't feel like natural, you can be like modern people.
Yes, we live in the modern world, right?
And the other fault of texting is like, if girl texts first, as she told, some guy think it's winning the game. Like, yeah, usually guys are in chasing position, so they're not used to being chased. So if they're being chased, they feel like, oh, I can control this girl because she's more needy.
That's definitely very Korean. I think that's definitely the experience of Korean. Yeah, because like, I mean, I'm sure that that's true for some people in the United States. I will say that my experience with guys in the U.S. and like France in particular, because French guys don't give a crap about like what girls do. They're just like, you live your life, it is fine. But like Americans are usually fine with it unless they're like alt-right, like really aggressive, like women should be, like there are guys who are like women should be in the kitchen, but usually you can like smell that because they've got like the shitty tattoos and like usually like a the South will rise again flag, like this kind of stuff. So usually there's like indicators in their profile that they don't really like or respect women. But a lot of American dudes, particularly my age, they kind of like want girls to text first.
One girl?
They like want us to text first, and like that's fine.
Me too. Yeah.
And like I think for a lot of Korean men, that's definitely true. Where they're like, oh, this girl texted me, so like I'm gonna make her my wife so that she will stay home and do all of my bidding. It's like very 1950s.
I mean, they also like get text first, but their behavior changed subconsciously, like looking down on girl. So if you're a girl and you feel this guy is going to be creepy because you texted first, just get cut out. Yeah, that's all.
Chop him off.
Chopping off.
Just chop the head. Off with with your head. Yeah, that's true. Here's a little bonus tip that I would like to recommend. Okay, sorry. Okay. Here's a little bonus tip. I know this is called 3 tips, but a little bonus tip is that for women who are looking for long-term relationships, which, like, don't get me wrong, we all need some one-night stands, you know what I mean? But if you are looking for a long-term relationship, I would be pretty forward about that at the beginning, because, like, in my experience, I didn't ever write in my bio, like, looking for a long-term relationship, but it was kind of implied through the pictures that I took and the bio that I had in there. So my bio said a lot of things about my hobbies, my eventual goals, right? Things that I want to do long term, just so they kind of had in their mind that potentially I'm looking for something that's long term, right? So if you are looking for a long term relationship, Tinder is a place that you can find it. It's that it will take a lot of effort and it will take a lot of time to find somebody who is a suitable match. There's a lot of human beings in the world, and like I mentioned before, I mean, almost 6,000 matches, and I'm not even that cute. So, like, imagine, you know, probably most of you watching this are significantly more attractive. You can find a good guy, right? So, like, just take time, or a good girl. You know, I'm down with all vibes, but, like, you know, take some time, put some effort in there, and be pretty forward about what it is that you're looking for, because the worst that can happen is the other person goes, nah, I'm not interested, and they just go away, and you don't have to worry about it anymore, right? So yeah, definitely just be forward from the beginning, and don't be afraid of texting the other person and reaching out to them, because anybody who's not going to respect your wishes or your boundaries, or will think less of you from doing any of these things that I've mentioned above, is not worth your time, in my opinion.
Additionally, I want to say this: don't be frustrated too easily. It's
Can you give me an example?
In life, getting something is really hard, so we have to repeat a lot of times. So, for example, she told us she matched like a 6,000, right? 6,000, 6,000. So I'm the one of 6,000. It doesn't mean I'm the superior 1% of the 6,000, but
that's true.
I'm just suitable person to her. So it's really hard to get opportunity, like applying job or going university. You remember that how you tried so hard to get something. So it's same.
Yeah, we mostly our personalities match pretty well. I think we're pretty cute, but you know, I think that the success of our relationship is less to do with like appearance, and it's more to do with the fact that we have personalities that match pretty well. Like, you can see through these videos that like we frequently disagree about stuff, but just being able to be like, all right, like I see where you're coming from, even though I don't think the same thing. Like, I think that is something that's really important to our relationship, and like not everybody, you know, is down with that, and that's okay. We're all different people, so finding somebody who's like on the same wavelength, or can at least like bend to your wavelength at necessary times. It takes time, and it's okay to take your time to find somebody. Like, I would advocate not being in a rush, because if we're hurried to just find a relationship, we're gonna just kind of like grab the first potential mate that comes along, and despite any problem that might exist in that relationship, we just continue going, and then realize that we've wasted a year of our lives. Speaking from personal experience.
I've seen many guys and many girls who are complaining that, oh, there's no good guy there, or there's no good person in my sight. But it's true, it might be true, but you have to try again. That's the only hope, I think.
That's true. Trying repeatedly. Because like, I don't know, when we try, you get closer to success. Right, so like, I don't know how many dates I went on over the 4-year period, and some of them were with the intention of like making friends. Some of them were with the intention of like hooking up. Some of them were with the intention of long-term relationships. You know, and through all of those experiences, I actually learned more and more about like how to have conversations with people, what kinds of personalities I was looking for. Because, you know, if I go on 100 shitty dates, well, at the end of 100 shitty dates, I know 100 things that I do or don't seek in a partner, right? And
also, it's very important to get self-cognitive. If you're not self-cognitive enough, you can't learn anything from many failures. So
that's true, actually.
There are two strategies of getting successful dates. Is trying more cases and try to be successful for each cases, like raising your possibilities and trying more possibilities. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I think so. I just like trying out different kinds of people, right? Because like, you know, I'm sure all of us are into like pretty K-boys or whatever, but like in my personal experience, pretty K-boys are like not very nice. As a general rule, I'm sure there are some that are, but at a certain point, after like dealing with enough of them, I was just like, no. But then, you know, you never know if you don't try, so you might as well give it a go. So I don't know. The only thing that I think is lost is time, and even in that way, I don't think we lose much, because it's a research. For me, it was a research project. You know, and I was like studying basically what it is that I thought was like beneficial for me, and also, you know, some of it was cultural curiosity. So yeah, I would advocate like just paying attention to what it is that you enjoy about a certain person or don't enjoy about a certain person, not to like make a checklist, but just so you know that those are things that you find valuable in a partner and in a mate. Because I really think one of the things that we've succeeded in is just like we have weirdly similar interests. And like I don't think that we would have been able to tell that from the beginning if both of us hadn't dated a bunch of people beforehand, right? So we kind of like saw each other and we were like a little skeptical, I think, at first. Just because, you know, he's taller than me and bigger than me, and we were in a dark alley.
Being skeptical is better than being positive all day, because it's less dangerous.
It's true. You know. But then we had a really good conversation, and like through those conversations, I remember being like, oh yeah, okay, like we're kind of on the same page about things. So it's okay to take your time and just, you know, try to have fun with it. I don't want people to be stressed. We don't need to be stressed.
So that's it.
Yeah, we left a lot of little bonus nuggets in here. We were feeling motivated this morning, I think.
Enjoy nuggets.
Chicken nuggets. Yeah. Wisdom nuggets.
Sure, you have nuggets.
I'm always down for nuggets. Dinner nuggets.
Okay, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
Yes, please like and subscribe down below if you like this video. If you have questions about anything that you want us to talk about, or you're curious about our relationship, then you can feel free to give us a comment, and we're happy to respond or make any content that you're curious to see. So have a good day, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.